Real Life with Susan Harf. Thanks for joining us for another episode with our very favorite life coach, teaching us strategies and tools for how to navigate the tricky spots and bumps along the road. I'm Rose Martin, and like you, I cannot wait to hear what's on her mind today. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Rose, and hello to you. So what's on my mind are the children who are right now experiencing something that they've never had to deal with during this pandemic. A lot of kids are concerned that their parents or themselves, might get COVID. And so parents are asking me, what do I do? What do I say to my children? And the first thing that I want to say is that children are very resilient, more than us. They really are. And what I find happens is they take their cues from their parents. So if the parents are showing their anxiety in front of the kids are going to be more anxious. That's not to say that you should not be authentic in front of your children, but there is a way to express your anxiety when you're with your kids and a way to express it behind closed doors, and those should be different. So if your child says, I'm afraid, Mommy, or I'm afraid, Dad, that you're going to get COVID, what you need to say is, I am doing everything possible to make sure that we don't get COVID in this family. We are wearing our masks. When we go out, we are always, we do not forget to do that. We are keeping socially distant from other people, and that's the same as when you're in school. Your teachers are there to protect you, and they're doing everything that they can to do that. So you're telling the kids that you are optimistic that we're going to ride this out and we're going to ride it out together, and chances are that's not going to happen. The other thing you can say, if they're particularly interested in themselves getting COVID, is that we are listening to the science, and we know that if children get COVID, they don't have a terrible sickness. They usually do not have more than a slight cold, and we don't expect that you're going to get it. And if you did, it would be just like a cold. And that's not lying to your child. That is telling them what you've heard all the what you've heard all the experts say. So,
but then if they come back and say, but I heard at school or my friends say that some kids are actually dying from this. What if I'm going to be one of those kids, Mom? Or what if it's going to be you?
And it sounds to me like you're really worried about that. So in other words, you say something to the child that lets them know you can come to me with that fear. If you have that fear, I am not going to run in the bedroom. I'm going to listen to you. So if you say that to me, I'm going to say, it sounds like you're really concerned about that. That maybe that's making you afraid.
Right, and then, yes, I am afraid, and even the tears would start because they know of someone, and then I don't want to be without you, and, you know, if it's me or you or any of our siblings, because they hear about the existential kids getting sick and being in hospitals and other parents or grandparents dying.
And so what I do then is, first of all, I use physical touch, and I would hug the child, and I would talk to them while we were hugging, and I would say, that is true, that has happened, but it happens rarely. It is very rare that children go in the hospital, and extremely rare that any child has died from COVID. So you want to you don't want to lie, but you want to minimize the fear, because you want to say, this is not happening with any regularity, and it's okay if you have these feelings, but we're going to put some parameters around these feelings. The other thing is that different children need different things.
Sure.
Some kids need much more explanation than others. Most children are going to take their cues from you. If you sound like you've got this, we are going to handle whatever happens with this situation. Whether we are unfortunate enough to get it or whether we sail through, we will handle it. And so if you sort of have that connotation, the child it's going to allay the child's fear. At the same time, you're not going to lie. You're not going to say, oh, that's never happened. Nobody's died from COVID. No one goes to the hospital from COVID. That's ridiculous. If you lie, what happens when parents lie to their children is that you're teaching the child not to trust you. And so, above all, you want your child to come to you with these feelings. And so, one of the things that has to happen is you, as the parent, needs to get straight with how you feel so that you can speak to the child in a way that is reassuring. Because if you are out of control anxious, you're unable to do that. And I'm not going to judge if you are. I'm going to say, get that feeling out with your peer. So you speak to your spouse about that anxiety, not your child. Or if you feel like it's out of hand, you speak to a trained expert. You speak to a therapist or a coach. But the point is that you need to understand and move through how you feel and how you're dealing with the anxiety in order to be a reassuring person for your child. But the other thing is that when I say that the children take their cues from the parents, I don't know any child who has said, I hate this mask, I refuse to wear it, and I would rather not see my friend than wear the mask. I hear parents saying, I hate that my child has to wear a mask. But the fact is, if you tell the child, this is what we need to do to feel safe, and you can go to school, and if your school is in session, you can see your friends, and it's okay to be together. You can't sit right next to them. You can't be on top of each other, but you can be socially distant wearing your mask, and then you're going to be able to see your friends. And when I have advised people to say that, and they come back to me with because I want to hear the feedback, they say they're fine with it. What they're not fine with is when they can't see their friends, and they have to be apart from their schoolmates and their friends. They want to be with their friends in the neighborhood. So the fact is that if we focus on the positive and we say, this is what we can do, we can be with each other. We can leave the house, and we can, in some cases, go to school, and we can be with other people. But we do need to wear the mask. We do need to be socially distant, and that is our ticket to being able to do these other things.
Well, and I love the fact that letting them know it's okay if you're scared.
Yes.
And it's okay if you're afraid. But no matter what happens, we're going to be able to handle it as a family. Or
absolutely.
Me as your parent. And you're going to know that, if you get it or you don't get it, or your friend gets it, or I get it, or your cousin gets it, we're going to figure it out as a family.
Absolutely. And there have been families where the children have gotten COVID. So in those cases, when the kids get it, if the parent acts like this is going to be okay, I have faith that it is. Mm-hmm. So if the child finds out, you have the test, you find out the child is tested positive, what you say to the child is, this is going to feel probably like a cold. And so you want to sort of set them up for being optimistic.
So they don't panic.
So that they don't panic. And again, I am all for being honest with your child. I'm all for making it clear that you're not going to avoid the topic, because even if you try and hurry through the discussion with the child, they're going to get a sense that you're uncomfortable with it. So the main thing that you can do if they do get COVID is you're right there. You're with them. You say, with a mask on, by the way, but you are with them. You say, I don't expect this to last a long time. We are going to be in the house for, I think now it's 10 days. We're going to be in the house together because we do need to quarantine, but you're not going to have the symptoms probably for that long, and we're just going to do everything we can to make sure that you get well very soon.
Yeah.
So the parent is setting the tone for the child and their anxiety. That is what's going to determine how it is they feel. We don't want to have to make it so that our child doesn't hear about it. In other words, we're not going to pretend that we're going to send them out into school or into the world and nobody's going to say, hey, my grandmother's in the hospital. They are going to hear about things. They are going to hear about other people and how this is affecting them. But if you put a spin on it relative to we can get through this as a family. We care about each other in our family, and we care about how we feel. And so if you're afraid, I understand that. I can completely understand why you would be afraid. Those are the things you say.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
For all of the parents out there, this was wonderful advice from our favorite life coach, Susan Harf, on what to do would help kids alleviate the fear of COVID, of getting COVID, or even in any other situations, because I think the advice carries through for everyone.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you'd like to get in touch with Susan, you can reach her at reallife@blueridgepbs.org. I'm Rose Martin. Thanks for joining us for these tips and strategies. Go ahead and have a great day.